And my friends, there will be no junkles for me today, as I must assume the position of fully don the proud propaganda hat and fight Celestia out of the corner they've seemingly been placed in, thanks to the men of Lithin. What am I talking about? My friends, 2 days ago we read a book, and in it we're presented with a potential horrifying reality. The humans of Teyvat are not real. You see, within this book, humans are nothing more than the creations made by old humans, created so as to degrade the world for their return. The old humans are described as monsters, reptilian in nature. They created what we know as humans to degrade the world. What, you might ask? Well, that really is the question, isn't it? As the answer to this question could clue us in on who the old humans really are, and if they actually have a matching counterparts into that. Well, what do we know? Once, long ago, the old humans once got into a large-scale war that covered the planet in a hazardous substance. It's due to this the old humans were forced to give their life force to create Lithin and seal themselves in biovaults deep underground. Whatever this hazardous substance was that covered the Earth was said to be deathly toxic to the old humans, and it's because of this they created the new humans, our humans, so as to inhabit the Earth and break down the toxic substance in a war, because humans will always fall victim to greed, vanity, and power. They will fight, and it will benefit the unseen lizard overlords. The reason the new humans could withstand the toxic substance was because, quote, their biological functions are in perfect contrast to our own. The environment in which we thrive is deathly toxic to them, and vice versa. It is precisely because of that the degradation they cause is vital to recreating a world suited to our existence. Okay, these bits of information are interesting. A great war, so great the entire planet managed to be consumed in a toxic substance. Within Teyvat's history, there have been many great wars that each had their own world-shattering implications. There was the original Great War between the Sovereigns and the Heavenly Principles. Then, there was a second Great War between the drugged-up, crack-fueled, newly improved, rock-addicted Sovereigns and the Heavenly Principles. But then, there were other wars that were said to have equally devastated the planet. Wars like the Archon War and the Cataclysm 500 years ago. So, which war could be referenced here in Men of Lithin if it actually is a reference to a real war in Teyvat? Well, we actually have a time period within the book. It's given to us in the very first sentence of the book, which reads, quote, "It is the 3rd millennium since the flame was stolen." Now this is an obvious reference to the Sage of the Missing Flame, Waxal Ubah Kahn, stealing the seed of phlogiston from the Pyro Sovereign, but when was that? Well, there's actually another book in Teyvatian lore dedicated to this topic specifically called Records of Hanan Pacha, and in it, the flame is stolen during a time when, quote, the stars and the moon held the sky, the dragons ruled the land, and the Lord of the Nights ruled the Night Realm. Not really specific, but, reading between the lines, this has to at least be after the war with the Second who came, as it was only after that war was the Night's Kingdom created. This would mean 3 millennia after this date, the Archon War is in full swing, but more importantly, khaenriahn, which was founded around the time of the fall of Salvanir, which in part self-destructed due to the divine nail that came down after the necessary divine nail that came down after the war with the Second, necessary to cleanse the world with the abyss, greater purpose. After the war with the Second who came, has recently been founded. Quote, "I've heard of people who are building a new nation without gods. Perhaps they'll have the power to stand against this world." Now, the reason this is all important within the context of Men of Lithin is because, remember, the war in the book was one that happened well in the past, but beyond this was a war that polluted the earth in a hazardous substance. My friends, the war with the Second who came did the same. Quote, "In the original worlds, the barriers were torn down, and the dark poison had penetrated the earth. To heal that fragile, sad, and imperfect world, the spikes descended and pierced the Earth's crust." Now, my friends, what was this poison that penetrated Fane's perfect world? It was the Abyss.
The ancient battle between the Descender and the dragons destroyed the corner of the world, allowing the Abyss to invade.
The picture becomes clearer. But my friends, something's wrong. The poison that was once readily available on Teyvat's surface in the aftermath of the war with the second who came was quickly swept away by those heaven-sent divine fucking nails. Within men of Lithin, that hazardous substance still exists, and because of it, the old humans ceased being able to live on the surface altogether due to the hazardous substance being toxic to them in specific, but not the humans they created. So, if the story is indeed an allegory for the war with the second who came, then who are the old humans? Who are the race in Teyvat that are uniquely affected by the Abyss? Because, so far as we know, the Abyss, and even more broadly, the Void Realm, is toxic to both the human realm containing both humans and gods, but also the Light Realm containing the Bishops, as Sumi tells us, quote, "The darkness spreading in Ankanomiya comes from the Void Abyss. Neither Bishops nor humans can endure it." I guess what I'm actually asking is, who went missing after the war with the second who came? Something's not right. Something's not right. My friends, for a long time I've built a reputation of something of a Celestia cock wrangler, but we need to take a good hard look right now at the heavenly principles, as their role in all this is becoming far too suspect. Earlier, I mentioned that both the human and light realms are affected by the void realms. However, there's not another realm, but another being we know affected by the darkness who exists outside the realms entirely, and even faceted one himself. Thanes, master of the four shades, master of the heavens, who after the war with the second who came was, quote, severely wounded in the Great War of Vengeance, had their functions ruined. Now, one might be quick to reason this could simply have been a result of the fighting, and that could be the case, we don't really know for sure, but one thing about Thanes is very clear: they fear the consequences of the Abyss. Quote, "But the Master of the Heavens, consumed by fear for the rising tide of delusion and breakthroughs, sent down the divine nails to mend the land, laying waste to the mortal realm." Guys, I've long wondered something. Something's always bothered me regarding the Celestia-Teyvat relations, which is they seemingly became irreparable following the war with the second who came. I mean, during the original civilization, the unified civilization, the envoys walked the earth. Thanes had a pact with humanity guaranteeing happiness. A perfect utopia existed. Then the war happened, and Ankanomiya was barred from returning to the surface. The Sealies were kicked out of heaven. Shades were being brutally punished. An air of callousness and ruthlessness seemingly took hold over Celestia, and they went silent. I always wondered why. Why did the heavenly principles turn their backs on humanity? What if it's because they never had their backs? What if it's because humans were nothing more than tools meant to cleanse the earth of the Abyss when it eventually caught up with Thanes? What if all Thanes cares about is the Abyss? It surely cannot be a coincidence. Both the humans and Abyss came from another world. Thanes threw up the barrier to keep something out. What if it was the Abyss? We know the heavens are ruthless when it comes to the Abyss, almost as if it's personal, but what if it is? What if humans are simply caught in the crossfire of a cosmic war between the heavens and their personal foe, the Abyss? Quote, "Heaven cares not about the wills of those who dwell in this world. We are viewed as pillars that bear up the earth, necessary for the struggle against its personal foes." This is a bad day, folks. In Men of Lithin, the reptile tells us, quote, "The incessantly questing heart, the barely controllable greed, the drive for victory, it all leads them to the same inevitable conclusion. My friends, this is fate. This creature is describing fate. And on Teyvat, the ones who control fate are the heavens. And if the fate bestowed unto humans by the heavens ultimately serves some ulterior motive against their personal foes, it makes sense why some want to break free from these shackles, why some want to rise above it."
Oh, dear creature, why do you bow down? For fear of the unknown? or for a power that you covet. You are like a flower born in sin, yet pure, spotless. I know your fate well. You need no longer hold back your resentment, nor accept the countless lies. Go forth, become a transcendent one. Rise beyond the fate bestowed upon you.
But my friends, there's one gigantic difference I've yet to bring up. In Men of Lithin, the new humans were created in a reactive manner. The hazardous substance came, then the new humans were created solely to break down the toxic material. But on Teyvat, this isn't the case. On Teyvat, the humans came first. Why? Because in the heart of the primordial, a progenitor god, hailing from beyond the stars. No amount of filthy fucking dragon bedtime story childish waxal ubah alot can ever take away from the fact that the primordial one verifiably loved humans, fought for humans, and gave to humans everything. At this moment, I'd like for us all to rise as I read to you from Before Sun and Moon. The year of the Ark's opening, the primordial one had a sacred plan for humans. As long as they were happy, it too rejoiced. In the year of Jubilee, if there was hunger, the heavens would bring down food and rain. If there was poverty, the earth would bring forth its riches. If melancholy were to spread, the heavens would reply with their voices. The one taboo was to succumb to temptation, but the path to temptation had already been sealed. Now, my friends, I ask you this: which book do you believe? The accurate and present retelling of Teyvat's history, or something that was written by someone who was on fucking crack?